And it's good if you have pen and paper to write these things down, because when you hear it, you write it, you read it, it sticks in your brain more. So we're going to go to our Bibles first, and we're going to go to 3 John verse 2. 3 John verse 2, it's in the back of the Bible. It's the little John, right before Jude and Revelation. And when everyone's there, say amen. Okay, it says, Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in what? Be in health, even as thy soul prospereth. So what is God's will for us? Not to be sick. He wants us to be in health. When Jesus was on this earth, what did he do? He went from village to village and town to town, and he healed everybody. We're told there was not left one sick person. Now let's go to Matthew chapter 10, verse 8. Matthew chapter 10, verse 8. Matthew chapter 10 and verse 8. And does someone have a pen and paper I can use? Because I forgot to bring my list of the remedies I'm going to do, and I need to put all the wound care on the covering. Matthew 10, 8. What are those first 3 words? And I need some paper. The first 3 words say what? Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the... Can the dead really be raised? Have you heard stories in the news where people were dead and then the mother, she took the baby in, she rubbed it for hours and the baby came back to life? That happened last year. Yes, one piece. Pastor Jan Marcuson, who's heard of him? He wrote the National Sunday Law book. When he was a medic in the army, a guy was pronounced dead for hours. So when he went to do the autopsy, the bag, green bag, duffel bag, sat straight up on his table. Freaked him out. People were praying for him. People can't be brought back to life. Did Jesus bring people back to life? What is something that we should all learn as part of first aid that can bring many people back to life? 3 letters. CPR. Circulation, pulse, respiration. Now, I got this from Walmart, and everyone should have one of these first aid things. You can get it from a bookstore, a teacher supply store, but we should be learning all of these things for first aid. How to do the Heimlich maneuver if someone is choking. How to apply pressure to a bleeding wound, because that's what we're talking about, right? Now, the medication stuff, we'll ignore that part. But all the life-saving techniques in here, please read this. This is wonderful. What to do for a choking victim. Okay, what would we do for a heart attack? Cayenne under the tongue. That's right. It'll stop it in its tracks. Put a pinch under the tongue every 5 minutes for the first 15 minutes. It covers food poisoning, shock, drug overdose. What's the best thing for drug overdose? Activated charcoal. Activated charcoal, absolutely. Sprains and strains. Drug overdose, poisoning, internal bleeding. What's the best thing for internal bleeding? Cayenne pepper. It stops hemorrhaging in its tracks. Choking maneuver, head, neck, and back injury. Concussion, fainting, electrocution, burns and scalds. Something we're going to learn. What is the best thing for a fire burn? Aloe vera. Better than aloe vera.
Honey?
Huh? Somebody said
Honey.
honey. But we want good honey. Okay, so let me write down what I'm going to be covering. So we're going to go with burns. So the very first thing, okay, so someone just burnt their arm in the oven, you know, on that little rack. What's the best thing to do for that? Huh?
Ice.
Huh?
Mustard.
You said mustard? You said honey? Huh?
Lemon juice on it.
I asked one at a time. What did you say, Purple?
Put lemon juice on it.
Okay, she says lemon juice. I've never tried that one. I learned this from someone straight from the Philippines. Slice a tomato and put it on there. Burn is gone in 5 seconds. And it doesn't scar. Amazing. How amazing is that? Did you know this in your country, in the Philippines? A friend of mine from the Philippines, she just moved here a few years ago. She said slice a tomato, put it over that oven burn. It works like a charm.
Wow.
Works like a charm. I was amazed. And the burning was gone. I've tried the honey and everything, it was still burning. The tomato took it away like there's no. Now, just a thin slice, just a big enough piece to cover the burn. And then take it there and leave it for a few minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. Okay. Okay. Now, what about a fire burn? Somebody got a 3rd-degree burn. What do? First of all, you need to sterilize some scissors. Because if the material is stuck to the skin, you have to cut it off, right? You have to be very gentle. What's the next thing you should do to a fire burn, 3rd-degree, 4th-degree burn? What do you do?
First, wash it.
You want to remove the clothing with some medical scissors. Make sure they're sterile. You want to provide a sterile environment because the person is compromised now. You don't want anything to infect this area because 3rd and 4th degree burns can get infected like that. Okay, what's the second thing you do after you've removed the clothing? You want to rinse it with cold water. You want to rinse it for a good 10-15 minutes. Rinse the area. We're talking 3rd and 4th degree burns, okay? Then what's the 3rd thing you want to do? You want to apply honey, pure honey. And where are the 3 places you get the honey from?
Farmer's market.
Farmer's market, honey farm, or Trader Joe's. It doesn't have to be raw honey, okay? Especially on a burn, they say don't use raw honey. You want to use the honey that's already boiled, cooked, pasteurized. Trader Joe's, and they're the cheapest, Trader Joe's. So you would apply it to the area, and then you would put a non-adhesive, and I don't have any with me, non-adhesive over that, and then wrap it with a Curlex. This is Curlex, and we got to get familiar. Can I use your arms?
She wants you to go.
Yeah, that's all right.
Can you come over here? Okay. So we'll pretend that this was burned, okay? So we've taken the clothing off. We've rinsed it with what? And then we've applied what? A nice thick paste, okay? Then we put what on top of that? No, the non-adhesive strip. So if it's an arm, you want a long one. If it's just an area this, you could use a square 4x4. But it has to be non-adhesive because otherwise it will stick, and when you pull it off, it can hurt. Then you take your Curlex over the non-adhesive, and you just secure it in place. I'll just like that. Then you would cut it, tape it with medical tape, and then you would put the date. But you're going to change this every day. But you want people to know when was the last time it was changed. I'm going to take thank you, sweetie, for being my little helper. Thank you. So, why is honey excellent for burns? It's an antiseptic. Why is it an antiseptic? What does it have in it? What is this called? Honey has natural peroxide. And before penicillin came out, honey was the stuff that they were using for infections and wounds. Okay? Honey's excellent. If somebody has a bed sore, a small bed sore, and they're starting to tear the ankles, the elbows, because when elderly or somebody's in bed for a long period of time and they're not rotated every 2 hours, their skin breaks down. Okay? You apply this to the area, the next day it's closed. That is the best thing for decubitus ulcers, bed sores. Nothing kills a bed sore like honey.
Wow.
Now, I worked with a bed sore that was this big, that wide, and about that deep.
Oh.
Back here on someone's area. It was concave. And I'm going to show you what to do for something like that. Okay? So, now, oh, you know what I'm missing? It's in the house. I forgot it. You don't use honey on chemical burns. You'll make it worse. Never use honey on chemical burns. There's a salve. You can make your own. But it's called the Healing Salve by Our Father's Healing Herbs. And Sister Kim makes salves too. But they have like 9 ingredients in it. And let me tell you, I had a chemical burn. You guys are going to laugh at me. This was years ago. I was in rebellion. I had been in church for 7 years. I was wearing short skin and all the stuff you shouldn't. And I'm trying to call myself being cute with the body spray. I picked up what I thought was the body spray, and I'm sitting in the car driving, and all of a sudden I'm burning and burning and burning. And I have this big red spot. I had picked up the citrus house spray and used that, thinking I had used the body spray. And I kept wondering, why does it smell like citrus? I got that healing salve. I mean, I was screaming. Water wasn't helping this chemical burn. As soon as I put the healing salve, burn was gone immediately. And it healed it in like 2-3 days. So chemical burns, you don't use honey. And we're talking about wound care, right? You use the healing salve, or you can make your own. Just look at what the ingredients are. Just a minute. So, okay. Now, who's heard of diabetes? What do people get? What are they called? Diabetic ulcers. Specifically, where on their body do they get? On their feet. And a lot of amputations. Now, we're going to be doing water treatments tomorrow, and I'm going to show you how to do this. But you take a bucket with hot water. Okay? You fill it with hot, you have one with cold. In the hot water, you want to put maybe 2 tablespoons of golden seal. And you soak the foot for about 3 minutes in the hot and 30 seconds in the cold. 3 minutes in the hot, 30 seconds in the cold. 3 minutes in the hot, 30 seconds in the cold. Now, why are we doing that? What does a hot water do? It brings the blood to the surface. If you have a diabetic ulcer, gangrene is coming in, and the foot is dying, you don't have circulation there, do you? So then when you put the foot in the cold, it's pushing the blood deep in the tissue. So when you have blood doing this, what are you doing to your blood? You're sifting your blood, and you're getting that circulation going. Then you dry the area well, and then all around the sore, you smack it. Why are you doing that? You're bringing it to life. You're bringing a circulation in the area, okay? And the reason you put golden seal in the water is because this is antibacterial, antibiotic. It helps with any infection that has set in. Now, guess what you do next? You get some sugar, the very stuff that causes problems internally, heals externally. You get sugar, you put it in a bowl, you put water, make it a paste, thick paste. You just want enough water to make it a paste. And you rub it all over the area, you pack it. And then you take saran wrap and you wrap it. Okay? And you do this every day. That thing will heal in a matter of a week or two.
With the sugar around the sore?
On it, in it. You pack it in it and all around it. Works great. Honey, you can use honey, but sugar even actually works better than the honey. Isn't that amazing? So, can we use white sugar?
Sure it is.
Absolutely, but use it externally. Okay, is that hard? Is putting water and sugar and applying it, the water treatments may be require a little work, but is it hard? This is not hard. And this heals people. And the medicine and stuff they're taking, the ointments and stuff takes months and years and half of it doesn't work. And this stuff works very quickly. Okay. Okay. What if you have an infected wound? What would be the first thing you would do? Clean it? Very good. I would do hot water, and then I would do cold water. Hot water, cold water, hot water, cold water. So I'd run the wound, if you're able to. If it's a leg, do it in the tub. If it's a hand, an arm, wherever it is, you do hot and cold. 3 minutes hot, 30 seconds cold, 3 minutes hot, because you're bringing circulation to the area, right? Then you use your peroxide. Clean the area out. Okay? Then what can you use for infection?
Honey.
Honey. Honey, yes. You can use honey for infection. If you don't have peroxide, you can also use cayenne water to cleanse the area. Let's hold, to the end. I'm sorry. All Q&A to the end. So you could use honey. Another thing you can use to clean the area is tea tree oil or oil of oregano. You guys are familiar with tea tree oil. This one from Revive. Revive has great essential oils, but the tea tree oil.
How do you smell that?
Revive.
No. Tea tree?
Tea tree, just like it sounds. Tea tree oil. Desert Essence is the best brand. You get it from Vitacost. It's much stronger than this one. This one's not strong at all. Okay, so you can also take golden seal and mix it with an oil and put it over there with honey. Nothing works like honey for an infection. It's excellent, excellent stuff. Also, this is called PAV. And I'll send you guys the email of where I ordered this from. This is pine pitch with olive oil and petroleum. And our pioneers and doctors use petroleum. The Vaseline, some people say don't use that stuff. You can use it. Oh, it's fine. Yes, you can use it. Is it petrolatum? The Vaseline. This is mixed with that. This is mixed with olive oil and pine pitch. Pine pitch is very sticky. Where do you get it from? Pine trees. Pine trees. And if you have an open gash, my son cut this part of his finger, the flesh here, it goes down like 2 inches. And his finger's open that wide. These 2 fingers, I freaked out. His fingers open this wide. That's how far apart they were when you cut this flesh. So what would you naturally do? You would go to the hospital and get stitches, right? But what if you're at the time of no buy, no sell? Do we need to learn now what to do? So I was going through Eureka, California, coming back to Eureka, Oregon. No, California. I was coming back from Oregon. And the Holy Spirit said, look to the right. And there were pine cones this big. And like that wide. Wow. Like this long and like that wide. And the leaves were like this big. And on the end of each leaf was a dollop of pine pitch like this. I had cups of pine pitch on these 3 pine cones. And I was like, man, I hit the jackpot. So I took it home, put it in the garage, set it on the table, didn't cover it or anything. And about 2 weeks later, my son did this. I washed it out, I sprayed peroxide, and then I packed it with the pine pitch, and the next day it was completely sealed. Oh, wow. Gonna need stitches. Now, does everyone have access to pine pitch? No. Do you guys have pine trees out here? No, right here. If you had to go outside your house, do you have pine trees?
No.
Well, maybe where you live, but I mean right here in Wilcox. Where I live in Idaho, you walk out your front door, you got pine trees right there, everywhere. So, what do you do if you don't have pine pitch? It's good to order some, okay? But also, you want to do equal portions of honey with equal portions of wheat germ oil. And you can get the wheat germ oil from vitacost.com. And then you get comfrey leaves, not the powder, the leaves. And you mix it in this until you have a thick consistency, and you spread it over the area. My friend's husband, his crease in his hand opened this wide. And it was sore and raw. We packed that in there. The next day it was completely sealed. It's called Nature's Stitches. Pine pitch is the #1 Nature Stitches. Isn't it pitch that Noah used to seal the ark?
Oh,
Yes, isn't that amazing? It was pitch that he used because water cannot get into the pitch. Okay? So is this simple stuff? This is very simple. And I will be sending you guys the document for the wound care, which has Nature Stitches in it. Now, who heard of the earthquake 3 weeks ago, yesterday, that was 7.1 in California? You guys heard of it? Okay. The day before, July 4th, I was at Portland Airport. I've been home 6 weeks and 10.5 months. I'm traveling everywhere. I was in Portland, Oregon, at the airport, about to get on the plane, 10 minutes, like 10 minutes, and I got a call from a friend. We just had a major earthquake. It was a 6.6. I'm like, I'm on my way there. I'm so glad it happened before I got there. So the next day, or that same day, 4th of July, I got there like at 2, got to my sister's at 4. I spent the night at my sister's and we were watching the news, and they said within the next week there was going to be a big earthquake. I said, oh Lord, please let me be in Arizona when this happens. Well, the big earthquake happened the very next day. And I was in the living room and I was about to walk up the stairs of my friend's house and I was like, why do I feel so dizzy? And then I saw the floor doing this, and I saw the walls. Imagine these walls shifting like this. I said, earthquake! We got so nervous. We went outside. We were in the process of moving my friend's house when this happened. We just finished moving, and he let the tailgate of the truck down. And it's the hauler thing, and I didn't see it. And I was walking with boxes like this.
Oh, no.
Because I just walked there and it wasn't down. And he didn't tell me to put it down. I tripped over this thing, flew about 4 feet, and slid my knee even with leggings on, and ripped my clothes. And I had a gash like that deep. And it was so ugly. My whole leg one leg was kind of messed up, but this leg it looked horrible. I applied this every day, this pack. And this is cheaper. This is half of what you get it from the normal company. So I'm going to tell you guys where you guys get this product. Tomorrow when we learn how to take this work to your community, you're going to learn where to get everything for wholesale. Amen? And I'm not charging you anything. I'm not trying to sell you the products. I want you to learn where to get the products. But there's nothing wrong with you making products and selling it to the community. There's no sin in that. But we don't want to ask people for money for the work that we do. Amen? So this stuff is excellent. My girlfriend's cat, when I was in Oregon before I came back to California for the 4th of July, I was there for a wedding. He got beat by some wild animal. His face was opened up and stuff was hanging out. And everybody was freaking out. We don't have money for a vet. I said, I have something. I applied this twice a day with a Q-tip. And that cat wanted to attack me. They held his face, and I would just spread it. He wanted to just claw me. I said, please hold him tight. So he did this twice a day. In 4 days, he was completely sealed up. Wow. Because pine pitch is in here. It's nature's. But the reason they have the olive oil and the Vaseline is to make it spreadable. Okay? But when you have an open gash, you want the actual pine pitch to pack in there. So this stuff is wonderful. This is good for gum infections, but wounds. This is great for wounds. What if you have scars? What's good for scars? The cocoa butter stick. Not the container, not the lotion. It has to be the stick. These things are like $1 or $2. Some places sell them for $10, but not Walmart. But this, I carry this everywhere. I had a scar from psoriasis. I used to have really bad psoriasis, but I healed it all naturally. Didn't use any medicine. My scar was this big. You can barely see it now. It was real white, and then I just rub this every morning after I take my shower. I just rub it on there. People who have stretch marks, if you have scars on your legs from falling, it takes the scars away. Isn't that nice?
Called cocoa butter?
Cocoa butter stick. And it's by, the name of the company is Palmer's. Okay. Palm. You guys can take a picture with your phone so you can see what it looks like.
You get that at Walmart? Dollar Store.
Walmart. They have them at the dollar store.
I've seen it at the that one Dollar General.
Okay, now write this company name down. This is where you're going to get all your herbs from wholesale. Very cheap. But they charge you $15, you're going to pay $4 for it. Very, very cheap. And that's where I order my Cayenne 90,000 heat units. Are we all to be medical missionaries? Some people just wanted the cheapest places for themselves. I don't give it to them. I don't tell them. If you're not doing medical missionary work, I'm not giving you the wholesale places. You're going to pay full price. Right? Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. 90,000 heat units. I think they changed it up to 100,000 heat units now. Is where I get my Cayenne. I pay $4 for 1 pound. Or $4.40. Okay? You're going to pay like $12 for 1 pound at a health food store. Okay? So, what if somebody falls through the window at a library, the glass gashes their leg this wide, and they're bleeding out the leg, squirting, and they walk 4 blocks to your house because they heard you could help them. First of all, because the blood was just gushy, and he walked 4 blocks. I'm like, "Are you feel like you're gonna pass out? Sit down." I give him cayenne water to drink to stop the bleeding internally, whatever's going on. Then I put a towel underneath, and I got a bowl. I had a big silver bowl, and I put water in it, and I sat his foot in it, so the blood can fall into the water and not on the towel. Okay? And then I got a clean washcloth, and I was using the water and doing this to the leg because I couldn't see where the puncture mark was. And then I got peroxide and sprayed the area to clean it, right? And then I took a handful of cayenne pepper and packed it in the area. Doesn't burn.
Oh, it seems like a burn.
No, it doesn't. No. Because the nerve endings, when you have a cut like that, you can't feel it. So I packed it in there. And I used a paper towel on top of it to hold it in place. And I probably held it in place for about 10 minutes. I mean, this guy was bleeding, like gushing blood, like I had never seen before. And I was just praying, and I prayed with him. The bleeding stopped in about 3 minutes. He bled 4 blocks. The bleeding stopped. And then it started to cake. So I peeled it off. I peeled the cayenne gently, because we don't want the cayenne caking on there. And it started to bleed just a little bit. But I put the nature stitches on there. The one with the wheat germ oil, the honey, and then the comfrey leaves, and you get it. Did I tell you the name of the company?
No.
Amera Herb. Instead of America, Amera, A-M-E-R-I, Herb, H-E-R-B. Amera Herb. Get their catalog. Start ordering their herbs. Start helping people. Start making these things. Because are we supposed to be prepared for emergencies? So I packed the nature stitches. I rubbed it in the area. The next day it was completely sealed and you couldn't even tell he cut himself. And his cut was like that deep and like that big. Is that amazing? Now, if they would have stitched him up, how long would it have taken for it to heal?
A month.
Even longer for some people. Yes. Now, what do we want to tell people to eat for wounds to heal fast? Protein, but healthy protein. Protein in your diet makes your wounds heal faster. A lot of people don't know that. So eat, what foods are high in protein? Beans, fruits and vegetables, nuts and legumes combined, nuts, seeds, tofu is high in protein, soybeans are high in protein. So make sure they're having protein in their diet. Because some people have very deficient diets. Okay. Is this interesting?
Yeah.
And I've been doing, even when I left church for 7 years, back in 96 to 2003, I always did the natural remedies. Because they work. Amen? Okay. So, if someone comes in and they've been shot, okay, you want to do 2 things. You want to do 3 things. You want to call 911, because you don't want, God forbid, something happen to be on your hands.
Right.
But you give them cayenne water, 1 teaspoon of cayenne, and if it's regular store-bought cayenne, you want 2.5 teaspoons, because it's only 40,000 heat units, and you want a minimum of 90. Okay? You put it in 1 cup of water and you have them start drinking it. Okay? And then you pack the area with cayenne. You take handfuls and pack it in there. Now, you want to have gloves on you. Because why don't you want to touch someone's blood?
What diseases?
You get AIDS. You can get HIV. You can get hepatitis, right? Blood diseases. So it's good to carry gloves with you. Now, if I don't have gloves, you think I'm going to let the person bleed to death? But I don't want to take that chance. Because you could have a cut on you and all you need is 1 drop and that's it. I would pray, Lord, help me while I'm helping someone else. But it's good to be prepared. Have gloves. But you pack it in that area and you keep it packed and you apply pressure. And this is for stab wounds. This is for gunshot wounds. I tell people, carry a paper bag of cayenne, at least a lunch bag set, half of it full with cayenne everywhere you go. Because you never know. And living in LA, there's gunshot victims everywhere. Stabbing victims everywhere. And this is not for wounds, but we're talking about cayenne. What is this? It's cayenne pepper. It's hot cayenne You can get it on Vitacost. The 1 ounce hot. You don't want the 2 ounce, that one is not hot. And if somebody's internally bleeding, you start getting cayenne in your system. If someone dropped and was going into cardiac arrest, you put a dropper full in their mouth on the side and start pumping. This works like pacemaker. This is wonderful stuff. Okay. Now, what if somebody has an infection from a wound? We learned what to do externally. Oh, who's heard of MRSA? What is MRSA? Guess what they say is
Bacterial infection.
Guess it's a staphylococcus infection. It's a staph infection. Guess what they say are the 2 best ingredients for MRSA? Honey and garlic. You chop garlic, mix it with honey, and apply it to the area. And you take honey by the mouth and garlic and take it a few times a day, every day, until it's gone. PO and external. And then you wrap it with a non-adhesive, you cut it with your scissors and apply it over the area. My girlfriend, she had it in her chest, and it eats your flesh. But the honey and the garlic will stop it in its tracks. Isn't that beautiful to know? Do people have honey in their cupboards? Do they have garlic? Yeah. Are these things within the reach of the common people?
Yeah.
Isn't that what we're told to use? Is anything I've shared with you right now so far hard? Simple, simplest remedies. Isn't that nice to know? Okay. So, what if I get a paper cut? You ever had a paper cut and just won't stop bleeding? What do? You sprinkle the cayenne.
Oh.
My best friend was so funny. Bless her heart. It's going to be 8 years next month. She passed away. I miss her so much. Get teary-eyed. Her son is 17 now. He just made 17, but he cut his foot really bad. And she called me up, Chris, what do I do? I said, do you have cayenne? She goes, yes. I said, sprinkle it on the foot. She's like, what? I said, do it. She rinsed it off. She put the paper towel. She said, Chris, it stopped bleeding in like 30 seconds. I said, yeah, that's exactly what it does. So every time he sees me, that's why we told my mom to put cayenne pepper on. So he knows cayenne pepper for cuts. 17 years old, he knows if somebody's bleeding. Put cayenne pepper on the cut. Now, a small cut will burn, but very slightly, nothing major. Because there's no nerve endings or anything. But when you're dealing with major cuts, then, but cayenne pepper. Should we keep these things with us everywhere we go? If someone's having a stroke, after they're done with the stroke, give them this right away, especially the t-shirt. A girlfriend of mine, she's a medical missionary, she had a stroke in her 40s, late 40s. Her husband was putting 1 dropper full in her mouth every 20 minutes. And after like 4 or 5 hours, she was screaming, stop, you're burning my tongue. She was no longer in paralysis because of the cayenne pepper. Isn't that? Because it helps the circulation of the blood in the brain. Now, if you have an infection, you want to take echinacea. Why echinacea?
Is it an immune booster?
But what do you need for infection? If you went to the hospital, what would they give you for an infection? Antibiotics. This is nature's antibiotic, as is garlic. You could do 2 cloves of garlic 3 times a day. Unless they're on blood thinner, you can't give them garlic. But echinacea. But you want a certain brand. Angustifobia. A-N, GU, G-U, STID, S-T-I, folia, F-O-L-I-A. It is the best of all the echinacea. This one is Solare, but there's other better brands. It's all what I could get at the time. And it will wipe out an infection. And when you go to third world countries, you're supposed to take these like 2-3 times a day for 30 days before you go and continue when you're going. This echinacea angustifolia wipes out any infection. Guess what else wipes out infection? Oh, they had I think it was staph as well. A boy did a science experiment at his school, and he used penicillin versus oil of oregano. He used the one from doTERRA, but Revive is just as good. And he had a petri dish of some kind of infection. The penicillin did nothing.
Wow.
And you can see this on YouTube. Boy does, he tests oil of oregano compared to penicillin. I think it was penicillin, yes. As soon as he puts 1 or 3 drops of the oil of oregano in the petri dish, the thing is disappearing, the infection. Okay? So the teacher said, try 1 drop. It did the same thing, but maybe in like 3 minutes versus just, as soon as you put the 3 drops, it was gone. Oil of oregano, dog bite, okay? Any kind of thing that can cause an infection. Now, what if you step on a rusty nail? Suki, is there a knife in here? I'll get it. You just tell me where.
Right at the corner, all the knives.
Oh, okay. So, your 2-year-old comes in the house and they're stepped on a rusty nail. Okay? So what do? You get yourself a potato and you slice it about that thin. And you put it on, you wash it first, use peroxide, use your oil of oregano so sepsis doesn't start in. And then you put this over the area and you put like a gauze and you tape it. And you do this like 2-3 days in a row and you change it a couple times. By the 3rd day, all the rust pieces of the nail and the nails on your potato. Wow. Isn't that amazing? You don't need a tetanus shot. Drink cayenne water internally as well. Put a couple drops of your oil of oregano.
How many times a day?
2 to 3 times. Morning and evening, especially before you go to bed, you want to do it. But why are you putting the oil of oregano in water, like 2 drops to drink?
Infection.
Right, internal. That's right, very good infection. Why cayenne pepper? Helps with the circulation of the blood. It'll help clean your blood, right? Yes. So let me ask you, is that hard? No. Now, what if someone has inflamed tissue? They hit the foot on something and it swelled, or they have maybe gout or something, or they have swollen feet because of their kidneys. So I got a quart Ziploc bag and I cut the zipper off and cut the sides, and I have a piece like this. Now if you're dealing with a big foot, real swollen, you need something like this size. If it's a small area, you could do half of this and just do half of a paper towel. You know how they're perforated like this? Do half of a paper towel and put that over 1/2, and then you can cut the other half, okay? But I'm going to do the long way, so let me get 2 more pieces. And then, I'll just cut it on this cutting board. So you just peel your potato, and I normally use a potato a little bigger than this, but this size is okay. And you don't need to You don't need to, I'm saying grate the potato, you don't need to peel the potato because there's a lot of medicinal properties in the peel. You should never remove your peelings from the potatoes. Like, eat them. They're good for you. Full of roughage, full of minerals. I mean, you can for some recipes. Thank you. Thank you. That's about as good as we're going to get. So you take, and remember, it would be a potato that's a little bigger. So you take your potato and you spread it on your paper towel. And potato has ingredients that sucks out inflammation. What else is good for inflammation? Onion. Charcoal. Charcoal is, I'm sure onion is, but Sister White says charcoal is the best. But what if you don't have charcoal? Does everyone have charcoal? I'm saying like the common people. Now we should have it in our bag, but let's say you forgot it at home. Most people have potato, right? Now normally you would fill this whole thing up. So what I do is I take 2 more pieces of paper towel folded in half. And then I have them put their foot here, the swollen foot. And then I will take this one. Well, actually, I put this on top. I have them put their foot here, and then I wrap it around the foot.
You put the foot on the potato.
Yes, on the potato. And I wrap it. Now, if the swelling is real big, you might need to do 2 of these. If the swelling is mainly on top, then you would flip it the other way on top. And then you would have this open to catch any potato that falls. And then we wrap it with, what do we wrap it with? Saran wrap. And then what do we wrap it with after that? An ace bandage. And then what do we wrap it with after that? Those trash bags you get from the grocery store. Sometimes the sock is not big enough to fit over this after you've got the potato and the ace bandage. And why do we put a grocery bag over it? To keep it from falling out, because potato, it stains your sheets. It stains sheets. You know how it turns black after a while? It will turn your sheets black. Yes. So you want protection. So I'm going to just, we're not going to use this.
Best day ever.
Yes, best day ever. Can I get someone to toss this and rinse this for me? A volunteer, thank you. Yes, Sheila, you sit in the kitchen on there. Now, I'm going to show you how to make a charcoal poultice. Now, some of you saw me do this Wednesday last week. Some of you were not here. Now, remember I told you the person with the decubitus that was like this big and like that deep? So what you do is you wash the area, but you want sterile gauze. You don't want to use a washcloth out of your cabinet. It has to be a sterile environment. So everything that's prepackaged. If you already opened the package and you've used it before, you can't use that. It has to be closed. You get your gauze and you spray and you pack because it's stenchy and it's gooey and you need to wear gloves. Okay? So I was working with a bed sore this big and that deep, concave. I've never seen anything. I didn't even know if you could get a bed sore that bad. And so, what feeds bed sores? Moisture, heat, and sugar. Eating sugar. But can it heal that?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we spray the area. You can put honey in the area. And then we do a poultice of charcoal. And I'm going to show you how to make the charcoal poultice right now. So you don't want to do this.
Put the honey in the one first.
Yes. Or you can do honey in the morning and charcoal in the evening when they're going to bed. I would rather you do it that way. I'm going to make a pretty good size. So we're going to do charcoal, and then we want a binder with it, because if you use just water, it'll dry, and then it will get messy and go everywhere. There. So, I'm putting flaxseed here. You can also use psyllium husk. Now when you're mixing charcoal, do you want to stir like this? Or do you want to be very gentle? Because that charcoal, boy, it poofs and it gets everything dirty. So, you want to mix it in, incorporate it into the charcoal well. You don't want to see the flaxseed. You want the flaxseed to become black. And I got this from the dollar store. And I like to spray better because you don't have to open the bottle and get your cotton ball. Okay. Now I'm going to add some water. That's the one I drank out of. This one I didn't drink out of. And if I put too much water, what can I do? Always add more. The more you stir, the more thick it gets. So you stir this for a good minute. Okay. My lips are dry, so give me just a minute. Some water. Okay. And then it's going to be a gelatinous ball. Still a little too moist. I'll probably add a little more flaxseed to this, but I'm going to play with it a little bit, because the more you play with it, the more it toughens up. But it kind of looks like the blob. Just gooey slime. Okay. You see that? And you want it a little tougher than that? I might have added just a little too much water. But that's good. Then you take... Now, if I'm dealing with a thing this big, or I need to put it over a big person's stomach, I need to do a good size. So I'll do about that size. You guys see that? This size. And you lay your plastic down. And I tell people, when you're using saran wrap, the best plastic to use, and it's thicker, it's not thin like this, is Glad. Glad saran wrap. Because this one is flimsy and thin. It's great for the kitchen, but when you're doing this, you want a thicker piece. Or you can get a gallon Ziploc bag, cut the zipper off, cut the sides, and use that big one. Okay? That's a really good thick material. Now you see that? Now it's hard. Now you do another plastic about the same size. And you put this one on top. Now what am I going to do? Huh? You need a rolling pin, and the Dollar Tree has plastic ones for $1. So I'm going to use this to improvise. Oh, see, this plastic is so thin, and it's hot and humid. If you use the Ziploc bags, the gallon size, it really works good. thank you for your feather. Thank you. But the goal is to spread it. If you have the good plastic that's not so thin, it'll spread out through the whole thing. Thank you. But because of the humidity and the way the plastic is sticking together, it's not going to do it, but you guys get the idea, right?
Yes.
So then what you do is you would take the top piece off. And you peel it like that, gently, or you're going to lose your charcoal, like I am right here. See the edges. See this is smooth. Well, you guys get the idea. Use a better plastic. The Ziploc gallon size are really good to use. We lost some of it, but that's okay. So then you would take this and you would put this directly over the area with the plastic up. And you would leave it in there, in the area. Or you got bit by something. You can cut pieces and use it, right? How often are you supposed to change snake bite? Do you remember, Purple? Every 20 minutes for what? No, for 3 hours. Every 30 minutes for 4 hours. And then the next 17 hours every hour. And then once or twice a day for the next week. But when you're done making this, so my son, we went camping years ago, and he ran right into a poison oak tree or bush. His whole right side of his face was just red, rash, itchy. I took this and slapped it right on his face. And you can mix charcoal with water and rub it on there. He kept it on there like a steak on the face or something. And in 20 minutes, it was gone. But you can, we're going to take this home because we need it. But you roll it up like this, stick it in a Ziploc bag, and put it in the freezer. Make several of them, and when you go camping, bring them with you. When you go places, bring them with you. And if you only need a small piece, let's say you got bit by a little black widow, you just cut a little piece and put it on there. Simple, right? Or you can mix charcoal with water, put it on a Band-Aid, and stick it on there. That's another thing we need in our kits. Now, one more thing I wanted to share with you guys. When you're dealing with wounds, have measuring tape. Because you want to measure the how it's shrinking and how it's working out. And it's always good to have a measuring tape. I got this for $1. It's the Dollar Tree. And tomorrow we'll be learning about water treatments. And this is a water thermometer. And I'll tell you where you can get all this product. You just throw it in the bathtub. If it says the temperature should be 80, you want to make sure it's 80. If it's 85, you put a little cold water in there until you get to 80. But this is perfect to have. We should all work to counsel. Everyone should have a water thermometer. And I'll tell you, Hopkins Medical Supplies online. That's where I get all my medical supplies. Hopkins Medical. Or I'll go to the Dollar Tree and get Ace bandages and stuff like that.
Can you use charcoal just for a red eye?
Absolutely.
Eye
Infection. Absolutely. Absolutely. Didn't Christ use clay? Yep. It was really like charcoal he was using. Charcoal is the best thing for eye infections, for swollen eyes, for tired eyes. It's great. Okay? So I think, you would take a little piece for a bee sting too. Okay? Yes.
Would it work for the immunization?
For the what?
Immunization.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And drink it. One more thing I forgot to tell you. My granddaughter, you know boys are wild. Her brothers were not paying attention and slammed the metal door on my granddaughter's hand and shut it all the way.
Oh, no.
She was screaming bloody murder. She was probably 6. She'll be 14 this year. And I rinsed it in cold water immediately, and then I put one of these around her hand. I did it with paper towel because I didn't have plastic. I mixed charcoal and water, spread it on a half a sheet of paper towel, folded it in half, and wrapped it around her hand. As soon as it touched her hand, she said, "Grandma, does it hurt?" and then I left it on for 24 hours. The next day, you can never tell anything happened to her.
That was chocolate.
Activated charcoal. The prophet talks about that for the guy who hit his hand so hard with the hammer, it swelled up and he wasn't going to be able to work for like a couple of months. And she pulverized, they got the pulverized charcoal and did that, and it was gone. So let me ask you guys a question. Is this hard? And you can also use these sticky tapes. They sell them in the Dollar Trees in the 99-cent store, and secure it, and they stick if you don't have medical tape. Okay? So does anyone have any questions?
Well, it's not a question.
Okay.
But I wanted to give another testimony as far as using charcoal. One time Kale was really sick. He had a high fever. He was throwing up. He said his stomach was hurting. It was nighttime. I did a charcoal poultice, put it on his stomach, wrapped it up with saran wrap, and within like 2 hours it was gone. Same thing with my mom. My mom had a really bad stomach ache. Did the same thing like I did to Kale, and when she woke up, it was gone.
Why does charcoal, give them the rationale, why does charcoal work over the stomach for a fever?
Because that's where all your you explain it.
Okay, because fever starts in the colon.
Oh.
And so the charcoal absorbs any infection going on, anything going on. And you want to put a hot compress on top, because if you use cold, she said it'll bring the fever back worse later on in the day. Wow. And so activated charcoal works great. And we covered this the other night when we did natural remedies from the spirit of prophecy. Yes, but you can make this and lay it over the stomach, and then put a hot water bottle and then a towel on top of that. Okay? So she had a comment. Suki has a question, and then Brother Monroe has a question. Yes, Suki?
If you have a cut, like I had a cut right there, and didn't want to put charcoal in it,
No,
because
it'll stain it.
it'll stain and leave a
Yes,
tattoo, right?
yes.
So I put clay instead,
Okay.
and then just push the clay out as a seal.
Oh, wonderful. Clay, I never, okay, clay. That's wonderful. Thank you. And remember, pine pitch works for those cuts. Nature stitches with the wheat germ oil. It's good to have all these things handy. And where can you get castor oil, wheat germ oil, all these things? Vitacox.com. Vitacox.com. Your tea oil, desert essence. Now, your essential oils you can get from revive-eo.com. And if you use my code CBiblical01, you'll get 10% off everything. And then they give me a discount. I get $1 for every $20 purchased. And then that helps me because I use all these products on people for free.
How do you spell that?
The letter C, and then biblical, BIBLICAL, just like my email address, and then 01. That's my code for you to get 10% off everything.
So what's the name of the company?
Revive-EO.com. And this is on the Natural Remedies handouts, which is in phase 2, or phase 1. Revive-EO.com. And tomorrow you guys will get in all the websites and where to go for everything. Oh wait, Monroe had a question and then Vanessa has a comment now.
It's Cassandra.
It's Cassandra. Call your daughter's name.
Can you freeze it?
Absolutely. That's where you set it. You keep it in the freezer. And then when you leave, you can carry one with you, or you can take the whole bag if you're going to be gone for like a week. If you're going camping, it's great to carry these everywhere you go. Because sometimes when you're at someone else's home, you don't feel like making it there. You just want it already made. Yes.
And along with my one question, the second question, how long does it take for, once you pull it out the freezer, can you use it right away or you have to wait a few?
You need to wait for it to thaw a little bit. Just a little bit. But not very long. Not very long. Okay? Now, Cassandra had a question.
Especially, diabetic ulcers, you said it's the contrast water, cold. For how long do you do that for?
3 minutes hot, 30 seconds cold, 3 minutes hot, 30 seconds cold, 3 minutes hot, 30 seconds cold, and you want it ice cold.
So like,
But you don't want it too hot for a diabetic. Put your elbow, make sure it's not burning you.
okay, so
Because
like,
if it's burning you, it's gonna burn them and they won't be able to feel it.
so like for on and off for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, off and
No,
on?
you do
cycle.
you do 1 minute hot, 30 seconds cold, 3 times.
Okay,
That's it. 3-4 times.
okay.
And you do that twice a day. Morning and evening. We keep it simple because people are busy during the day.
2 things. I got burned this morning and I didn't do anything.
Okay.
And it still hurts. So what would I do? Would I use
Try the
honey?
tomato when you get home. You can try a little honey now. But the tomatoes seem to work really fast.
Even though it's already been a couple hours?
Tomatoes amazing. I was shocked. that this tomato
And
worked.
Lemon juice is really good to burn yourself on the stove or the oven. You can put lemon juice on
Okay.
it and it will still work.
Okay, I've never heard of that, but I'm gonna write
And
it
then
down.
Just get a Q-tip, dip it in lemon juice or pour it on there and it'll stop it from burning.
Thank you.
And it doesn't seem to blister either when you use lemon juice.
Okay.
And then another question. After you use that charcoal, you throw it away?
Yes.
You can't reuse it.
No, because it's absorbed.
It absorbed all the bad stuff.
Yes.
Right.
And we're told that inflammation is a poison. Okay? And nothing can fix inflammation like charcoal. That's like the #1 remedy for yes.
Do you apply the charcoal direct, or do you put something in between your skin and the charcoal?
If it's open, you use paper towel.
Okay.
If it's not open, I do it directly over, like the
So if you do it
fever.
on the eye, what would
I would use a paper towel.
paper towel?
Paper towel. Okay. Any other questions? This is interesting, isn't it? And I've been doing this since 1991. I've been doing these things for 28 years.
Yeah,
Yes.
when I had my ranch and had horses, I had a horse that got his leg cut. I put cayenne right on it, stopped it, healed it up, never even had a scar.
Awful. The cayenne stops the bleeding.
Yeah.
Oh, and if someone's bleeding from the bowels, we're told to put a charcoal poultice over the stomach. And if they're dying, they'll stop dying in 30 minutes.
Wow.
That's in the spirit of prophecy. We went over that the other night. So, brothers and sisters, is this hard? Is this hard? How old are you, young man?
16.
Okay, you know how to read, right? Okay. Is this hard? You could do this, huh? It should be so simple that children should be able to do it. They're to be our medical missionaries. We're to be training them in the home on how to do this work. Do you want to do this work? Is this hard? When you hear it out of the mouth of babes, okay, we want to use the simplest remedies, and do we want to reinvent the wheel? The spirit of all prophecy already tells us what to do. No. So I guess that's it for all the questions. Any other questions? I'll take a couple more. Okay.
Charcoal works for even jellyfish.
Yes, jellyfish sting. Any kind of sting, burning,
Like,
Ignacio.
sis, like they're dying.
Works great for cysts. Absolutely. Absolutely. Works good for toothache we talked about last week. So what time are we coming back tomorrow? 11 o'clock in the morning. You have a question? Yes, you can take it on the inside. It just depends on what you're doing it for, how old you are, how much you weigh. But like, let's say you're vomiting. I give people 2 to 3 tablespoons in about 20 ounces of water and have them chug it down. If they vomit it up, I get it right back in their system because there's that reflux time that you don't vomit and it'll settle your stomach. It just depends. But for toxins, if you're vaccinated, if you have metal toxicity, if you're getting mercury removed from your fillings, you want charcoal for all of that.
So just a comment. So with the oil of oregano, in my experience, I buy it every year and I use it all through the flu season.
Okay.
So as soon as I feel anything in my throat, I put like 5 drops under my tongue, and then it's gone. And so in my house, if we're going somewhere and anyone's sick, I have that, and I'm like, okay, everyone's getting 5 drops. And the last time I did it, no one got sick, but hey, I say that was because of the oil.
I have something in my medical kit. I have 2 Mary Kay bags with all my stuff. I travel everywhere with, and I have what's called it's the echinacea spray. No, eucalyptus spray. VVAX. They say it is the best for killing, and you can get it for $13 a bottle. It's excellent. I put it on my pillow in the cold and flu season, spray it. When people come around, I'm like, open your throat. Yes, it's wonderful stuff. But yes, so we'll be back tomorrow at 11. We're going to learn how to take, we're going to do the first 2 parts, is how to take this work to your community. How do you start? Do you start major? Do you start small? They've already started. And the way they're starting is really good. But we're going to see what we've been counseled in the Spirit of Prophecy. We're going to look at some powerful information. You're going to learn how to do surveys, door to door. How to do a survey over the phone. Because when it's raining outside and it's 20 degrees, do people want to come outside or open their doors? So I pick up the phone book and I start calling them. And I'm going to tell you how to do it. And then the third part tomorrow is we'll be back in here and we'll be doing water treatments. Okay? And we're not going to use actual water. And does anyone here have a massage table? Can you bring it? Because I want to use it to demonstrate on people. So I'm going to show you what to do for pneumonia. I've worked with 4 or 5 people with pneumonia and it was gone the next day because of these treatments. Yeah. I'm going to show you what to do for pain. I'm going to show you what to do for several things. And it's good to have a massage table. Remind me to tell you where you can get them for you can get a $300 table for $99. Wow. Remind me to tell you where. So any other questions? This is good stuff, isn't it? Okay, Brother Arthur has a question.
I couldn't hear what it was for treatment.
Oh, we covered that the other day. It's like a teaspoon of charcoal, maybe 4 or 5 drops of clove oil, a little bit of water, mix it to like a peanut butter consistency paste. Take a piece of gauze and cut it out like a silver dollar sign, and put a dollop of that mixture in the center. Roll the edges inward and put it wherever the toothache is or the abscess in the mouth.
How much clove?
About 5 drops of clove oil.
Oh,
To maybe like 1 to 2 teaspoons of the charcoal powder. A little bit of water. And that's in the handout I gave you guys last week. And what to do for natural remedies for everyday ailments.